Hello class 10 students, I Harpreet Kaur from English Frog Club has brought a lesson named A Letter to God from your book First Flight under NCERT publication. Today we'll be learning the explanation of the lesson. I'll be explaining each and every paragraph with you and we'll be discussing meanings and much more things related to that paragraph, and this way we'll proceed para by para and come to the end of the reading and understanding of the chapter. So are you ready to learn the chapter with me? Why to wait? Now let's proceed. Now, let's start with the reading and understanding of paragraph 1. So, we are at here point. The house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill. From this height, one could see the river and the field of ripe corn dotted with the flowers that always promised a good harvest. The only thing the earth needed was a downpour, or at least a shower. Throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his fields intimately, had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. So we've come to know that the protagonist of the chapter, the name of that protagonist is Lencho. So we are going to read about a story that is related with Lencho. Where does this Lencho live? This Lencho lives in a house. Where is this house? This house is on the crest of a low hill. Now what do you mean by the crest of a low hill? Now crest means top of the hill. So let us say this is the hill and the house is situated on this top of the hill, from where one could see this entire valley around could be seen from the top of the house. And in this valley are the fields of this man named Lencho. So from there he was witnessing, he was watching his fields. What are the fields of? The fields are of corn. Okay, so he has grown corn crop in the fields. And what is the condition of plants that are grown in the field right now? Corn, ripe corn is dotted with flowers. There are a lot many flowers on the plants, and it promises that definitely they are going to have a good harvest of the corn this year. But there was a problem. What was the problem? It is written here that the earth needed was a downpour or at least a shower. So there was water needed to raise the crop. For the better growing of the crop, water was needed. And what is the natural source of water? That is, of course, rain. So can you write in the comment box what words have you seen in this paragraph that tells us about rain? There are two words. I want you to write those words in the comment box below. Okay, so the Lencho's crop is ready with flowers and it needed some shower, and Lencho was looking towards the sky since morning, towards the northeast direction, where he was expecting that the clouds would be appearing in the sky. Now let's move further and see what's there in the next paragraph. Now we are really going to get some water women. So here Lencho is talking to his wife, okay, and he's saying we are really going to get some water, that they are going to get rain that day. The woman who was preparing supper replied, "Yes, God willing." The older boys were working in the field while the smaller ones were playing near the house until the women called them all, "Come for dinner." It was during that meal. Okay, so let's first see the paragraph till here. So Lencho expected a good shower, and his wife said if God will be willing to send the shower and their crop to make them prosper, surely they will get a shower or they will get a rain. What the children were doing, that is been described here. The older boys were working in the fields while the smaller boys were playing near the house. So, and the mother was cooking the food and she called everyone for the dinner as the dinner was ready. It was during the meal that, just as Lencho has predicted, big drops of rain began to fall. In the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. The air was fresh and sweet. The man went out for no other reason than to have a pleasure of feeling the rain on his body. And when he returned, he exclaimed, "They aren't raindrops falling from the sky. They are new coins. The big drops are 10-cent pieces and the little ones are 5 fives." While they were having food, they were having dinner, they heard the voice of falling of the raindrops. So Lencho went out just to see the first shower of the rain, just to experience that first shower of the rain on his body. And when he returned back, he said one thing, that was, the raindrops aren't falling, they are not water drops or drops of rain falling from the sky, but they are like new coins. The big drops are 10-cent pieces and the little ones and the smaller drops of rain are 5-cent pieces. Now, why Lencho has said this thing? Because this rain would be helping the crop to grow better, and if he'll get a better crop, he'll sell that crop in the market, and this way each raindrop would be proving like a coin. So at this time, raindrop is going to bring them money. So that is why he's comparing the raindrops with money. With a satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with its flowers draped in a curtain of rain. But suddenly a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. These truly did resemble new silver coins. The boys, exposing themselves to the rain, ran out to collect the frozen pearls. Now, what are the frozen pearls? The hails that were falling from the sky were the frozen pearls. So, as the rain had converted into hails, the children wanted to enjoy that and they went out. "It's really getting bad now," exclaimed the man. "I hope it passes quickly." If it did not pass quickly, for an hour, the hail rained on the house and garden, the hillside, the cornfield, the whole valley. The field was white as if covered with salt. But as Lencho expected that it would be passing soon, but it did not pass soon, and it hailed continuously for around an hour, and the whole field and the area was covered with the hailstones, and that way it looked completely white as if some salt is being spread in the valley. Not a leaf remained on the trees. The corn was totally destroyed. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness. When the storm had passed, he stood at the middle of the field and said to his sons, "A plague of locusts would have left more than this. The hail has left nothing. This year we will have no corn." That night was a sorrowful one. All our work for nothing. There's no one who can help us. We'll all go hungry this year. So after it hailed heavily for 1 hour, the cornfield was completely destroyed, and Lencho was really worried about how they will be spending the rest of the year, as they didn't have any crop, and they won't be able to sell the crop in the market, and it won't bring money to them. If they won't be having money, so they could not purchase anything, and this way they will have to remain hungry for the whole year. That year was going to be completely very terrible year for them. and there was no one to help them. So that was a quite sorrowful night for Lancho and his family. Let's see what Lancho did after his crop was destroyed. But in the hearts of all who lived in the solitary house in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope: help from God. So everyone in the house was having one hope, that was from God. Don't be so upset even though this seems like a total loss. Remember, no one dies of hunger. That's what they say. No one dies of hunger. So Lancho's wife tried to console him that if the things have been destroyed, it doesn't mean everything is being ruined, everything is over. He should be still hopeful, and that is why she said that no one dies of hunger. And Lancho reassured her that no one dies of hunger. All through the night, Lancho thought only of his one hope: the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. Lancho was an ox, a man working like an animal in the fields, but still he knew how to write. The following Sunday, at the daybreak, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to the town and place it in the mail. It was nothing less than a letter to God. Okay, so that night, that whole night, Lancho kept on thinking about his one hope only, that was from God. And as he was instructed stands here that as he was being told by his elder, God sees everything and God is present everywhere, and he can understand what is even in the conscience of a person. Lancho was an ox of a man. What do you mean by an ox of a man? That Lancho was very hard working. Okay, Lancho knew only to work, and in spite of knowing, in spite of a ordinary farmer, he was known about how to write. That means he was a little literate. He was able to write letters, etc. So he decided to write a letter to the God, and he went to mail that letter himself. Now let's see what were the contents of the letter. God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes, because the hail's torn. Lancho wrote a letter to God and he asked for 100 pesos. Now pesos are the currency that was prevalent at that time. Why he needed 100 pesos? That was to firstly sow his field again, and secondly this money will be helping them to have a normal life for the till the crop is ready to be harvested next time. He wrote to God on the envelope and put the letter inside, and still troubled went to town. At the post office, he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. So he posted the letter, he wrote the letter, went to the post office and dropped the letter in the post box. But still he was still a little troubled. He was not at peace even after writing the letter to God. One of the employees, who was a postman and also helped at the post office, went to his boss, laughing heartily, and showed him the letter to God. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address. A postman collected the letters from that post box, and he just, when the letter came into his hand and he saw the words to God written there, he started laughing a lot, and while laughing at the letter, he went to the postmaster, and as it was a quite strange address, postman never knew that address where the god resides and how he could deliver the letter. That was the thing that was making him laugh at the person who had written the letter. The postmaster, a fat, amiable fellow, also broke out laughing, but almost immediately he turned serious and, tapping the letter on his desk, commented, "What faith! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter, starting up a correspondence with God." Okay, so the postmaster was also really surprised and he also started laughing. But later on he realized that the man who has written a letter to God must be having an unconditional faith on the God, and he was really moved by the faith of the person, and he wished he could also have such kind of faith that he could start a correspondence. He could start writing, communicating with the God directly through letters or any other means. He wished if he could also have such kind of faith. So, in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea. Answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it, he needed something more than goodwill, ink and paper. But he struck to his resolution. He asked for money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary, and several friends of his were obliged to give something for an act of charity. So, postmaster never wanted that the faith of this man should be deceived, that he should be feeling unhappy when he did not get any kind of letter from the God. So he decided that he himself will be corresponding with the person who has written the letter. But when he opened the letter, he read the letter, and he came to know that in order to fulfill the desire of the person, he needed 100 pesos. And at that time, those 100 pesos were quite a lot of amount that an ordinary postmaster would never be having. So he was resolute, and he decided to collect the money. For that, he asked the post office employees to donate some money. He asked some of his friends to donate, and he even donated a part of his salary to collect the money. It was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos. Okay, so in spite of parting his own salary, asking his friends, post office employees, they could not collect the 100 pesos. So he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half. He put the money in an envelope addressed to Lencho, and with it a letter containing only a single word as a signature, God. So in this way, after collecting a little more than half money, the postmaster sent the letter to posted the letter, writing the Lencho's address on it, and along with the money and the and a piece of paper on which the word God was written. Following Sunday means the next Sunday. So Lencho used to visit the post office on Sundays. So one Sunday he wrote the letter. Next Sunday he came to collect the letter. Sunday, Lencho came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him. It was the postman himself who handed the letter to him, while the postmaster, experiencing the contentment of a man who has performed a good deed, looked on from his office. Okay, so the postmaster was very contented that he is going to help, he is going to go do a good work, and he is going to help a man. He himself went to hand over the letter to Lencho. Lencho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money. Such was his confidence. Lencho was really confident that he would surely getting an answer from the God, so he was not surprised at all on finding the letter that was from the God. But he became angry when he counted the money. God could not have made a mistake, nor could he have denied Lencho what he had requested. So while opening the letter and he counted on the money, and he came to know the money was quite less, money was less as he demanded, and then such was his faith on the God that he could not think that God cannot send money, so somebody has did this work for him. He could not think of that thing. He was having such a blind faith on God, and he became a little angry. He said that God was about to send me 100 pesos and the money is quite less. And so what Lencho did after finding out the contents of the letter, let's see further. Immediately Lencho went to the window to ask for paper and ink. On the public writing table he started to write with much wrinkling of his brow, caused by the effort he had to make to express his ideas. When he finished, he went to the window to buy a stamp, which he licked and then affixed to the letter. So here let's see the reaction of Lencho. He was quite he reacted instantly, and he went to the post office and he went to the window. He asked for a paper and ink, and then he just tried answering the letter, and he was a little furious also. He was taking a lot of effort to the brow, this wrinkled brow. This is the wrinkled brow was showing that how much effort he was taking to write that letter. And when he finished the letter, he went to the window and he asked for a stamp, and he affixed the stamp on the letter. The moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster went to open it. It said stands for what did the letter, what was written in the letter? God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest, since I need it very much, but don't send it to me through the mail, because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Lencho. So post office employee thought that Lencho would be really happy to get whatever money was there in the letter, but on contrary, Lencho was not at all happy. He was furious, and he wrote to God that send him the rest of the money, as he was in a great need to get need of that money. But he instructed God, he requested God not to send the money through post, as the post office employees are, according to him, the post office employees were a bunch of crooks. Now what do you mean by a bunch of crooks? That they were dishonest people. So according to Lencho, his rest of the money that he demanded was taken by the post office employees. So that's all in the story, a letter to God. So this story reflects the blind faith of a human being towards God. That's all in this chapter, and you all have understood the chapter quite well, and I expect that you will be writing in the comment box the best part you liked in the letter. That's all for today. Do subscribe and share my channel with your friends, and don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you for watching my video. See you in the next video with the question answer session of this chapter and the other explanation videos of class 10th. Bye for now.